Boxing King Media in association with BYD. Ben Shalom, surrounded by greatness.
Gaza. Very good.
Fan of Gaza?
Of course, everyone's a fan of Gaza.
Absolute legend. In fact, why does random as hell, but why didn't you invite him to one of these events? Because you always have like celebrities and boxers. We want Gaza ringside.
You'll have to speak to Dan Miller about that. That's his crap. But I'm sure he's been invited. I doubt he wants to come, but I'm sure he's been invited. But yeah, legend.
Wicked. So let's jump into it. We were saying last week, stadium fight 3 or 4, and now we're here for the 4th stadium fight in your boxing journey. Callum Simpson, obviously it's been 18 months or so since you've had him, and you eventually got his signing over the line. Loads of people recommended Callum to you. Do you know what I mean? All the things he was told and promised. Just give me an idea, what kind of things were you getting told when people are like, you need to sign this guy up?
But you always hear on the circuit, and we're always looking out for talent, but very rarely does a diamond in the rough appear. And with Callum, I liked the fact that I've been down to Kevin Marie's show and I watched him, and I like the fact that he'd done it the hard way, and he'd learned his graft and he'd learned his trade and built his fan base. And so it was in the end it was an obvious choice. But yeah, Kevin was on to me about Callum Simpson for a long time. He's someone that we kept an eye on, and then when the time came, it made perfect sense. And since then, he's gone from strength to strength. And yeah, he's such a likable lad. He's such a talented lad that he has the world at his feet. And we knew we had something special when we signed him. But you almost want to just see how he reacts to fighting on TV, see how he does against certain opponents, see what he needs to learn, what he doesn't need to learn. But because he's had 10, 11 fights, he doesn't want to mess around. And so a few fights in, gets to a point where we've been talking about Barnsley for a long time, and we were thinking, is it too soon? But my God, we announced the show yesterday. We've not even gone out on sale yet, and half the tickets have been sold. And you saw the atmosphere in there today. So definitely a British boxing story, a great story, but also for me, the potential, superstar on our hands. Like, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'm very respectful of Zach Chell as well, who I'm very fond of and is a fabulous champion. And he actually had a defeat. We brought him back. He beat Jack Cullen, and the winner was ordered to fight Callum. And so he's got a tough test. But as I say, Callum, as a boxer for a promoter, ticks every single box. But he's going to have to keep his feet on the ground now, because it feels like a bit of a trophy parade. It feels like a procession because of the amount of support he gets. But he's got an extremely tough fight. But yeah, long-winded answer was, we were lucky to sign him, and we want him to go right to the very top. But he has got a tough task.
There's every chance this could be compared to the fight of the weekend. You've laid it out for the guy at home.
Look at this.
Who is that? What's she doing?
The fans, they're rowdy, aren't they? No, that's all it is. They're all having a bit of fun outside the window. Go on.
So you laid it on the table for Richard Riakpo, Selhurst Park, but a lot of people probably overlooked Chris Billam-Smith and expecting Richard to stop him, and it was completely opposite. Same sort of thing here, in the sense that Zach Chell, obviously, it's being built about Callum Simpson, but Zach's resume in boxing, he's probably got the best domestic resume in British boxing, because he's fought everyone from 3rd, 4th fight onwards, and he's got some serious experience in the ring. Any concerns how that could be a big difference in this fight?
Concerns, it's a 50-50 fight, and Zach Chell will be looking at Callum saying, who have you beat? Who have you been in there with? As you said, Richard had to rise to the occasion and couldn't at that point. And you can't get in the ring with them. At some point, you can do everything that you can. And we did it for Chris Billam-Smith, and he took his opportunity with both hands. And so it's a sport at the end of the day. There's going to be risk. Any fight can win or lose. And Callum against Zach, would you choose Zach as your first homecoming to fight? No chance. But he's the one with the title. He's the one that's earned his position. And Callum's going to have to put a career best performance on, because this isn't a foregone conclusion. And for me, I know the bookies might have Callum maybe the favourite because of where he's from and the hype behind him. But from a pure boxing standpoint, Zach's achieved a lot more in his career, knows a lot more about himself when the goings gets tough, and that will give him a huge amount of confidence.
No doubt if he wins, you're going to end up coming back here because there's no way you can just leave it at that. What's going to be the indoor venue? I know you got the Metrodome, but I don't think that holds more than 1,000.
Listen, this was Barnsley are meant to give us their venue 10 days before the season starts, so we will go into the Metrodome. I think there's only a couple of thousand, and that obviously isn't going to work for someone like Callum. Managed to get Barnsley on board, get the council on board, and phenomenal that they've given us a venue, but it means there's a limited capacity. It's 7,000. That's going to sell out. Like, what other kid, let's be honest, prospect, can sell out 7,000 tickets in the first homecoming fight? You won't even need the undercard to do anything, really. And so, of course, we want to come back. There are indoor stadiums. I think if we had to go indoor with Callum now, it would have to be Sheffield Arena. But the dream for him is to come back here in the full capacity at Oakwell next season. But as I say, it's really hard for me to talk about anything beyond August the 3rd because it's disrespectful, one, but it's also stupid. Zach Chell has got just as much a chance, in my opinion, of winning this fight as Callum has.
Just regards to the undercard, I know you touched on it there. What can we expect? Any announcements? Is it going to be local fighters or boxer fighters?
Look, when we did Lauren Price in Cardiff, we worked with a lot of local fighters, and it really worked well. It really gave the whole city a buzz. It gave us a better atmosphere. It gave us a situation where they really want us back. And when we did the deal with Barnsley, they required us, we want some local fighters on the card. So of course we'll do that, but we'll still have some big names on there. Caroline Dubois, I expect to return, who was meant to be on June 15. Little illness meant, okay, we took the August 3rd date instead. Stephen McKenna, I believe, coming up to super welterweight for the first time in a great fight against Joe Laws. That'll be on this card. And then we'll have some special fights on there, but as I say, there will be a local element. Callum's very passionate about this area. I'm only from an hour away in Manchester. I know what it means to these guys, and it's the excitement. I mean, you've been here today. It's phenomenal. So we have to have that local element to it.
And then you're going to go head-to-head with Terence Crawford, and also your fighter Martin Bacoli fighting on that Saudi event in LA. I take it you're not going to be in LA, obviously.
Well, you say that. I've not decided yet. We've got to work it out between the team who can do what, but it's obviously a big night for us with Callum and Zach and Martin as well. Obviously, it won't clash from a time zone perspective, so I think it would be a wonderful night of boxing to go into the LA card for anyone that can stay up. But I'm not decided yet. We'll see. I think Martin's in a massive fight as well. So yeah, I'll probably work that out in the next week or so.
And then Wardley, Clark too, any developments on that? Because there's rumours going around that could end up on this 21st of September Wembley card. Any truth in that?
No, definitely conversations going on. It's a fight that I fancy Fraser in even more so than the first one. Fantastic fight. Obviously, Fabio's changed perhaps his promotional status. So we have to start afresh, but that's fine. Still a fight that we want. I think we'll have to see. I think the ball's in Fabio's court as well, being the champion as to whether he fancies that next. But for me, Big Fraser's in a totally different stratosphere as to what he was before that fight. And so that's the most exciting thing. And yes, that's the fight that we want next because I think it's the most money for both of them.
Willie Hutchinson put on Instagram earlier on that there's some big news coming for his next fight. And again, I'm assuming all this, he could be on that card. And I know he was ordered to fight Joshua Buatsi. Is that the route you guys are going down?
Nothing decided yet. Josh has some big fights ahead and he's in a great position. Obviously, we know how frustrated we were about the Yarde fight not happening already. But we'll see. I don't want to say anything that is out of turn or I shouldn't be saying, but yeah, he's in a great position, Josh, now, and we just want to get him that big fight.
Has the Yarde ship sailed?
I don't think so. I think that's the fight that it's the fight that the fans want. It's the fight that Josh knows he makes so much more money from than any other fight, let's be honest. And so, as a promoter, that's still the fight that is best for Josh. But ultimately, and thankfully, he's a number one in 3 governing bodies, which means he gets a lot of opportunities as well. And there's big fights around the corner.
Last person on my list, Chris Eubank Jr. Are you still in talks? What's the latest on Chris?
I think you'll have to ask Chris. Nothing on my side.
Any other stadium shows planned?
No, I think we're about to announce a show next week for the end of August. Then we'll be taking Ben Whittaker to Wolverhampton. Hopefully have a similar experience to this, but just trying to build the fighters. You know, when you look at Lauren Price and what she's achieved in Cardiff, and you look at Natasha Jonas in Liverpool, Chris Smith in Bournemouth, obviously Richard had his moment in Sellers Park, Callum now goes here in Barnsley, Whittaker we want in Wolverhampton. We're stable sort of coming of age, you know, the fighters that we've been working with for a long time, and they're finally getting to the point where they can headline, where they can be in the big fights, where they're recognised, they're doing huge numbers, and it's an exciting time for us now, because a lot of these guys we're very close to, and seeing them get to the business end of their career, relatively, the part of their career where it becomes very exciting for fans is big. And yeah, we're going to have a big few months. Adam Azim will be back, hopefully can announce that in the next week or so. And yeah, few announcements then.
I've got a last trivia question for you. I'm going to test your local knowledge. Do you know who one of the most famous people in Barnsley is? He's got a statue after him in Barnsley Town Centre as a clue. From the cricketing world.
Oh, I'm from Manchester. We don't do cricket.
You've got Lancashire.
No, I'm joking. I don't do cricket. Go on. Actually, you know, Michael Atherton went to my school, so I lie. There's a few ones. Go on, who is it?
Obviously not the same age.
Not the same age, no.
Dickie Bird, famous umpire. Do you recognise the name?
No, so what? He's from Barnsley, is that
The statue of him in the town centre. He's one of the most famous cricketing umpires. I don't know how many games he was an umpire for, but one of the most recognised umpires in England.
Good knowledge, mate. Do you see him on your way in?
He passed away a long time ago.
No, I'm saying the statue.
Oh, the statue. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, the statue. I did see it on the way in, yeah.
Good man.